Well, I guess there isn't really much explaining to do what's in this box. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, so I kind of have the box set down here. I'm going to pull everything out and kind of show you guys what it is up top. And yeah, let's check this thing out before we get a chance to install it. Alright, so they give you quite a few stickers, and let's see what's in here. What do we got? Should be installed by someone who knows what they're doing. Stickers, lots of stickers, and little ad on the back for some stuff. Someone who knows what they're doing again. And what do we got here? Assembly instructions, PT Cruiser and 03 to 05 SRT4. It basically, I guess, you know what I mean, goes over stuff, tells you how to, gives you a diagram on how to put stuff together, which is pretty cool. All stuff that I need to check over, all right, and look at before we put this in. That's just how you stop master cylinder, which is suspension tire modification. That's with most suspension and tire modifications from OEM specifications. Changing the brakes may alter the front to rear brake bias. Rear brakes should not lock up before the front brake system. Just to make several stops, low speeds, work up to higher speeds. I'm sure that they probably go over like a break-in period and stuff like that, which is all normal for any kind of brakes, regardless. So let's get this little fancy thing put back in this paper. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. I mean, there's a pretty good bit of information in there. So, all right, just here's the small box. These are going to be the brake pads. They're actually pretty thin in comparison to a stock pad. Warranty thing. What else do we got in here? Another one of those pink papers to tell you who's supposed to put it in, supposed to know what they're doing. And there's all 4 of the pads are in there, 2 for each side. Okay. Now, brake lines are inside. This is kind of a mixed box for the assembly. So here is the braided lines that you need to install the brakes. Let's see what's in here. Something in here. Something else is in here. Alright, what's in here? Always check for clearance and binding, blah, blah, blah. It looks like we have the fittings here that actually mount into the factory bracket, possibly, and screws onto those lines, along with the actual mounting brackets to mount them on that 10mm bolt in the front on the car where the factory lines go. Okay. These are the brackets, the aluminum side brackets. These bolt to the spindle and hold the caliper. All right. These look like the bolts that I guess they use to bolt bracket kit. So these are probably to bolt these to the spindle. And what do we got one here? These are the bolts and the washers to mount the caliper to the bracket. And these are the bolts that you use to assemble your rotors. Okay. Pretty cool kit. I guess, you know, everything's made like this, so it's universal, so that you know, you use different parts for different kits. So that's everything that we have in that box. Okay, now let's check this one out. Okay, this one is caliber. I wonder if there's different part numbers, left and right are different. 120, 13, 83, 42 black. You know, they're both the same. So these are the calibers that are black. Obviously it says black right on it. So let's open one of these up. Let's take a look inside. Well, they come with some more stickers. The box is empty. All right, let's check this thing out. Okay, so here is the wilwood caliber that you're supposed to install onto the nsrt4. The inlet is actually in the middle. That's why they are universal from side to side. So I'm looking at that right there. It has bleeders on the top and the bottom. So if this was mounted, it would be mounted this way. If you're actually sitting in your car, so this would be your driver's side, so you would bleed out the top on both sides, front and back. All right. And your line would go here. I'm sure that kind of points up. And if it was on the other side, it would be this way, and obviously you'd bleed the other ones on the other side. So let's just check this quick. .3, 4, or 5 brake fluid, do not exceed 12 cents or so. It says, in racing and off-road applications, expect caliber after every use. So that's kind of interesting. Yep, see, goes in and explains you where to bleed. Use only the uppermost screws to bleed air from the caliber. They actually, I guess the 6 piston, for some reason, only has 1 in the picture, and the 4 has 1 in the front and the back. I know on the other vehicle that I have that has the Brembos, there's actually front and back bleeders on them calibers, because they're quite large. I think they're 6 piston. All right, so that's pretty much both calibers. I'm sure look exactly the same, so there's no sense of putting that back in there. Both of these calibers, same deal. Now, here is one of your rotor centers, and well, there's the box. There's the rotor center. Take it out. So there it is. You actually assemble this onto the rotor. Let's get one of those out. They give you 2 of these. I'm just going to set that one up top here, out of the way. Now, here is the disc. Look how big that box is, believe it or not. All right, let's open this up. That way we can see what's in here. All right, let's pull this off to the side. Okay, got our box out of the way. Pull this thing out of the bag. Oh, knock down some keys. So, they give you another one of those little pink paper, little green papers in there, so you can see what you're doing, I guess. This is labeled for direction, I guess, with an arrow toward the front, and yep, okay. So you have that, and we'll just put our arrow at the top because of it's saying wilwood here, and we'll just set this on like that. So I'm sure this will get the bolts from the back that were in here. Will actually come through from the back side, and they thread into this front. So that's kind of what you're going to see through your rotor. Really nice that it's an all black kit. I'm actually looking to try to find a cheaper rotor for the rear that's actually anodized in black. I don't know what this is gonna, if this is gonna stay black or if it's gonna wear off in comparison. That way I kind of have a match as far as the colors from front to back. Really curious to see how the 4 piston set's gonna work. I did kind of want to get the 6 piston, but this was what was available to get from somebody at the time. Really pretty happy to actually have acquired one of these, and I can tell you what, we're going to be installing this thing really soon. But yeah, we'll be painting our rear calibers to match, and rear calibers, and getting some rear rotors. But Very, very nice setup here. Very nice setup. If you have a car that has a bigger turbo, I would highly suggest getting this kit to install. You know, I mean, you're making, you know, possibly double or triple the horsepower of what the car actually made. The brakes that are on the nsrt4 actually are quite good. I mean, in comparison to some of the other cars that I've run hard, it takes longer, or I almost get no brake fade running them down the road. You know, so that stuff's not too bad. I never ran one down a drag strip or road raced it to know how they act that way. You know, even in severe braking, very rarely does the ABS even kick on them cars. They just work really good. The brakes are just good. Just like I said, I just think this is a good investment for something that yeah, you're making more power on, so this is something you should have. And with that being said, hopefully you enjoy it. I didn't really get to check any of these out until I finally bought one. Like I said, I wouldn't have had this unless somebody offered it up to me. It was always something that I had my eyes on wanting to get or acquire and get to install. But yeah, we'll see you in the install video on the brakes.